Happy Thursday to you, Saskatchewan. Welcome to this edition of the SportsCage. Like the big voice guy that gets paid to read it, said for Access Communications, trusted in rural Saskatchewan for internet, TV, and home security. Co-host going to be with me in a bit. Colson's on the other side of the board. Got everything buttoned up there today. We're with you for 3 hours. However you're taking in the program, maybe it is watching it through our YouTube feed at sportscage.com. Nice to see you as well. All the digital audio channels, and of course, the stick, the big daddy, the big one, 620 CKRM. All of our guests are going to join us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. There's no need to cook tonight. Go grab a wheel from Western Pizza. Any of the Greek favorites you love there as well. Souvlaki, ribs, salad. All the goodness you can't make at home. Prairie Land Rentals text line is open. 936-6262. 306 936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals, located at 600 Albert Street. You get to deal with the owner, whatever you need when it comes to renting. Maybe it's a power tool, maybe it's a skid steer. They got you covered there, and they're the official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer in the city as well. The 3 hours, we're going to hear more from the winter meetings, some clips there as well. Hoping to be joined by Brett Lauther in the next 10 minutes here, talking about the Winter Classic. We'll talk a little football as well. How about Dohnte Meyers, Cincinnati Bengal? Dohnte Meyers will come on with us bottom of the hour-ish. We'll have Farhan Lalji from TSN, CFL Insider, Football Insider. Probably got some stuff to talk about there. Farhan. Special Olympian for golf, Taylor Carter, gentleman from Regina, is going to join us in studio in hour 2. Did some reading on Taylor. Pretty interesting stuff. So looking forward to chatting with him. Hour 3, Glen Suitor and the SJHL Report with Benny Walchuk, because we are the home of local sports in Saskatchewan. Brought to you by Flooring Superstore, my co-host, Sharky, on a Thursday.
Quite an intro.
Just put a mint of some sort or a hard candy in his mouth.
Well,
that's a strong play when you're doing radio.
I got this cough going on. It's almost like a zin for lots of people, but
lip pillow.
A little lip pillow. I got this scratchy throat thing going on, so I'm trying to avoid the cough as much as I can.
Glad you came in and are sitting this close to me. Should we have masked?
It's not an illness kind of cough. It's nothing to worry about. No.
Years of darts?
Yeah, not even darts. I think I need a beer.
Winter meetings this week. It's like there's a lot of hype.
There's a lot of hype.
It's been sitting in Calgary. Is it the rule changes and what's coming next year and then the following year? And the one thing Stu said yesterday, we got a clip. Can I call him Stu? Is that okay?
Yeah, I think you guys are on first name basis. Yeah.
They're not taking anything back. Board of Governors approved it. Full steam ahead with the rule changes.
So
Recommendation. We're keeping that the last 3 minutes and that 20-second thing. We're going to keep that as is. Recommendation. I like that.
I like it too, and I think everybody's scared of how that's going to work out if they just go to the straight 35, because essentially it gives a team a minute 45 to burn the clock with 3 snaps, right? So it is possible that the last minute and a half could be over, which right now doesn't happen in the CFL. You can't pull that off. So I do think coaches will figure out a way around it. They do with everything else and cause it to change and change everything in sports, because coaches want to win more than anything and they don't want to lose. So they'll figure out how to work around it. But I think there's a little bit of throw stuff at the wall and see what'll stick. You know what I mean?
That's how some of the best businesses are made.
That's how they're made.
Amazon just came out with, this is how we are. They sold books online.
We can do this with other things.
They probably tried a lot of different things. How about Apple?
Yeah, I think some of Stu's ideas are maybe too groundbreaking for some or not groundbreaking enough for others. They talked about the American draft, and that's kind of been kiboshed or dealt back. But you know what I'd like to see if they don't do that? If you put a guy on the protected list, you got to do a release for it. You got to let us know that you put a guy on your protected list. The protected list isn't a secret inside the CFL. Why is it a secret outside the CFL?
As in the negotiation list? Well, that's public now.
It is, but you don't know if somebody's on or off it.
I think you could find out, can't we? Colson.
dig up every single team's negotiation list.
Yeah, but
Right,
do
it's
we
January, we got nothing else.
Do we? We're a little slow, but we don't get a notice? There isn't a notice in.
Oh, you want like you want a push notification on your phone?
I want a notification.
CFL.
I want to know what's going on.
The Riders.
Pretty simple to do.
Have just added TJ Watt to their negotiation
Why
list.
wouldn't we? Right? Create some more conversation.
Yeah, and then he signs a 3-year extension, and we remove him from the negotiation list.
TJ, we're going to have to drop you. Sorry, bud.
Okay, I didn't say it was going to work. I just want to know that he's on there.
I like ideas. I'm an idea guy.
I do.
I'm not here to crap on you. I like it. We're talking radio. We're not saving lives.
That's true. We haven't saved a life
We're
yet.
not that important.
Although there was a guy banging on the window yesterday. He's probably down for the count.
Pete, that's a story. Maybe I'll tell that story later because people would have no idea what happened there. But Dohnte Meyers, we're talking to him in a bit.
I look forward to it.
Excited to chat with him. Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Our first guest is here. We should have a doorbell.
Ding dong.
Western Pizza. When our guests are here, grab a Western Pizza tonight. A guy who's probably had a few
Pizzas
and probably likes it.
Pizzas.
Brett Lauther is joining us. He was in studio with the other radio stations the other day. We have to have him on video. Brett, how do I get you in studio? How do I get you here chilling with us?
I didn't have the option. I 100% would have came in, and it wasn't at 8:30 or 8 in the morning, so it would have been way easier for me to make it.
How's fatherhood?
Yeah,
it's the best thing ever. Obviously, everyone who has kids, babies knows the challenges and stuff, but honestly, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. That's for sure.
Is she sleeping through the night?
Not bad. I think we have it easier than most. She's sleeping right now, which is great, especially for this. But overall, just up a few times to feed, and for the most part, pretty good.
One thing that I didn't take into consideration, and when you have them back to back, kind of they happen quick. The formula or the diaper budget. And it's like, oh yeah, this is a lot.
This is a big number.
This happens a lot. That whole little diaper genie thing is getting full constantly, and then you're gonna have to budget. Here's the only tip I might throw out: if there is going to be a daycare and that stuff, and then down the road in the next few years, start budgeting for that now.
Yeah,
and then because the day when daycare ends, man. It's like new golf clubs, maybe a new vehicle. I'm serious. You're laughing. You watch. It's going to be like, that was a lot of money over the years.
Where did that all go?
I'm only laughing because I know it's true. I mean, nowadays you have to have them applied for daycare before they're even born and stuff. So there's such a waiting list for even trying to get swimming lessons or anything. So it's a different world for sure. But I'm lucky. Yeah. My wife is so on top of things because with so much on the go myself, she definitely keeps my head straight at home for sure.
Yeah, you need that quarterback at home. You need that quarterback at home. It's coming up, the Rider Foundation Winter Classic, January 31st at the Belshire Place up in Saskatoon. It's Team Getzlaff versus Team Lauther. Kind of know you a bit from the hockey circle. You're a competitive guy. You want to win this thing.
Yeah, I mean, you still want to put on a good show for the fans that come to it too. And at the end of the day, the main thing is you're there for a reason. It's to raise money for the kids in the province and to try to give back. But I always think you see in the last 5 minutes of the game, maybe things pick up, get a little more competitive. The last thing we want any year is obviously a blowout one way or the other. And I always joke around with Chris or others just saying, just let them win last year. It wouldn't be fun if I won every year, but this year it's back to business. So
do you have any special signings coming up? Do you have any special announcements of additions to Team Lauther?
I just got the approval, I guess, to maybe mention some things that I wasn't really allowed to mention before. Not 100% specific on the rosters yet because I definitely want to stay out of them so there's no bias or anything afterwards. So I kind of let the upper management, the upstairs, handle that part. But just some of the players that are coming this year, we got Mike Commodore, which I've heard so many good things. Heard that guy's a beauty, so can't wait to meet him. You guys got me?
All right, hold on. We got internet issues in downtown Regina today. Okay, so
Mike Commodore's coming and pick it up from there.
Sorry, Ryan Beta's coming back, which is great. Obviously, guys like Mitch Picton, JC Claremont, Andrew Harris, new addition. So he's going to be a good one. Heard plenty of good things. He's been talking a big game for sure, too. Chris Getzlaff, obviously, playing against Chris. Everyone knows Chris, how good he is at hockey, and the Grey Cups and everything as well. Mike Sillinger coming back is awesome. Another new addition though, got Nick Weave coming up for the first time, flying back. Andy Two's in town, so another Grey Cup champ, a legend here. Noah Zer will be there as well, and then a few others. And then I guess I'm allowed to tease or maybe just mention that there might be another pretty big trophy coming up for it as well. So we'll have the Grey Cup in town for this one too.
Yeah, I can imagine it would be there and be a fan delight while it's in the rink.
We're excited.
It's about raising money for the foundation and everything you guys there do as well, because there is a lot of things, from the reading with the kids to going to help up north and just different things like that. And I know we talk about it and people are like, yeah, we get it. But it is so important for what they do and for the groups that you guys help out.
Yeah, and for me, this is something even a few years ago when, not to take up a ton of time, but just how this started. It was just, I got into the mentorship program that the CFL and CFLPA started the first year, and Craig Reynolds gave me a call because he just wanted to know how it was going to go and just learn more about it. And then I just randomly pitched this idea. It's something I used to do back home with my buddies. We'd do it every Boxing Day. I kind of would, on a much, much, much smaller scale, organize, renting the ice, getting some beers, having some pizza after for the guys, and just getting everyone together. And then just kind of pitched this to them. Was lucky enough to get involved with Cindy and the foundation. They were crazy enough to just let me run with it. And then now just how much money we raise, and the sponsors and everyone that's getting involved, realizing, the importance of mental health and reading. Like Saskatchewan, for those that don't know, actually has the highest suicide rates and lowest literacy rates in Canada. So the importance of this and the impact it's making that you can see in the schools. I mean, even this past couple weeks alone, I've trained Tommy Stevens. He's out on his own. I was with Duncan Busby on Friday and Monday. I was in a school in White City yesterday. I'm in a school tomorrow in Regina with Sam Emelis. We're back in another one on Monday. Going to be training a lot of new guys. We started off with one or two of us. We're up to 14 players that are here kind of staying in and out in the off season. And for me, years ago, no one would stay besides me and the local guys. And, I would talk to guys like Getz. I would talk to guys like Fantus and guys back in the day when they were winning. And I think it's just really important for guys to be staying in a community-owned province, trying to give back. And I feel like this is how you win. And, a guy like Coach Mace and J.O. and these guys get it. But now that we're getting more guys staying in the province, I think it translates to what's happening on the field as well.
Have you ever had anybody come up to you years down the road and go you came and spoke at my school and I remember you, and then this led me to this?
It's the same thing. It's part of my presentation that I tell the kids, especially doing it for a few years now. There's one part just on the box breathing, and I won't go too deep into what that is. And it was taught to me a few years ago, and it's something I use each and every day in my life. But then I explain to kids, this is something I do before each and every field goal when I go on the field, or trouble sleeping at night, or for them, maybe it's before a math test or whatever it might be. And it's been super rewarding because now over the past couple of years before a game, I always try to take a few minutes to go down in the end zone where the fans come. Some people drive a long way, or some kids their first game, maybe sign some stuff, take some pictures. And for me, probably 2 to 3 times a year now, one of the kids will be like, hey, you were at my school in Moose Jaw or wherever it was. I'm using the box breathing before my AAA hockey games or before my music recital or math tests. And for me, full circle, that's kind of what warms your heart. And, I'm not going to be able to play football forever, but if we can kind of leave this hockey game behind and it's still raising money for good programs like this, I think that's what it's all about.
If I take you to Western Pizza for a pint, maybe a pizza, can you teach me this box breathing just for golf, for the first hole, that first tee shot? I need some of that action.
And I'm not just lying to the kids either, just trying to pass on a good message. It's really something I use, and it's helped me tremendously because I remember when this was first taught to us, we couldn't just be like, hey, we're riders, we want to go to schools. Like, we had to work with like psychiatrists, do mental health training, background checks, you name it, to do things like this. And when it was taught to me, I was just trying to keep an open mind, because at the time I was like, this isn't something I'd ever use. Like, I don't use stuff like this. And then now it's, like I said, it's something I use each and every day of my life, passing it on to the kids. And I think it helps with anyone, whether it's, athletics or anything going on in life. Obviously, there's been a lot of things going on the past few years, if you want to go down the road with like politics or cost of living or COVID. So everyone could kind of use it, and it can help in so many different ways.
You've given one example in the breathing exercise you teach the kids, but what else do the players go out and talk to the kids about, or work with the kids with? Give us a feel for what it's like for those kids when the players come in, and what are they going to experience?
Yeah, so a typical day, if you're at the school for the whole day, it'll consist of mostly like rider readings, they're called. So grades like K to 4 will have the readings. We mentioned obviously the literacy rates, but you'd go into a classroom, you're there for 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the school and what's going on. Read a couple stories. We'll bring like bookmarks that are all signed by the players. There's some cool like trivia tips and tricks on there. Usually try to play a game or two, answer some questions, maybe sign some stuff if they have a rider gear. And then with the older ones, usually that 5 to like 9 range. And I know it's expanding into high school now, but it'll consist of that Win with Wellness presentation. So that presentation's pretty long in detail. I had plenty of say over the year where we modified it to, I think it's in a really good place, but that will take you all over the place for about 45 minutes. And the participation from the kids and how smart they are and how educated they are on these topics compared to I was when I was their age, it would kind of blow you away. So it's really rewarding to see how much mental health has taken the forefront in the province now compared to what it used to be.
Nice.
Sure.
That's great to hear.
So the game is January 31st, like I said, up in Saskatoon at the Belcher Center. Team Getzlaff versus Team Lauther. Who's coaching Team Lauther?
We have, I think there's even some surprise coaches that aren't worked out, but I know Keon's going to coach us there. Joe will be on the other bench, and then there might be another name or two that even in the past hour. So I've been trying to work out via email, text, and some meetings. So we're still finalizing everything, and there's going to be a ton of guest appearances not on the ice too. I'll say that.
If they come to you and say, "Hey, Brett, what do you want? Do you want Silly or do you want Commie? Who are you going to take there?"
Silly will probably kill me for saying I don't want him, but I was with him last year and we lost. And like I said, I've heard so many just great stories about Commie, so I'm kind of going to hope that he's on my team this year just to have him in the dressing room for the laughs.
And I know Commie will bring the beers. Silly will want you to bring the beers.
Yeah, Silly will ask you to bring. Commie will bring. And
Silly will drink
the
beers.
Knowing both of those fellas well, no, I want to see Harris out there.
Yeah,
because he played some senior hockey, right? Yeah. So and he should be okay. You said he talks the big game, so that's going to be.
I think he can back it up though too. I tried to get Andrew last year, just didn't work with timing and like family and the transition. So I've been on him since then. This year he was all in, really excited to have him. And I know he's a great player. And even some of those other Winnipeg players, like I've heard Dembski's a really good hockey player and stuff too, but obviously we can't get the Winnipeg boys over here. Yeah, so.
And we're live, so we can't even edit that out. Okay, I got to ask you a couple football ones though, since we got you here. You're under contract, ready to go next year. When's the last time you kicked the ball?
Not since the final, not to like make an excuse or nothing like that, but I've been dealing with some more serious back stuff throughout the year. I really didn't even practice the last 3 months almost of the season, was just trying to play games, get through it. So I've been dealing with the doctors, trainers a lot since then. We're just kind of getting back into it, where I was just okayed last week to start doing some stuff in the gym and maybe getting on the ice and progressing into things. So next month, hopefully get to kicking again. Obviously there's still some big dates and potentially some stuff to even work out with the team to even be playing next year. It wasn't my best season. I think everyone knows that, but yeah, for now, just training, keeping things the same, controlling what I can control, and just getting ready for, like I said, there's so many things on the go with being a dad, the PA work. I'm on a call after this and going to get on the ice tonight, but just taking it one day at a time and getting ready. But obviously I think all of us want to run it back and don't see any reason why we couldn't.
Yeah, we got Dohnte coming up here in about 10 minutes time. Always probably special to see one of your guys get a shot down there.
I was going to say, if you have Dohnte coming on, just cut me off, because he's definitely a lot more interesting with what he's got going on. And so excited and pumped for Dohnte. Like, so many guys in our room, but like, he's just another guy that deserves it. Like, what he brings every day, the type of person he is, the type of player he is on and off the field, couldn't be happier for him. And hopefully it works out, obviously. Everyone wants that, and then if it doesn't, obviously everyone's pretty excited to have him back in green too.
We want him back.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, we want it to work out. We want it to work out.
But yeah. I'll give you one from the text line. I did proof it, so it's not coming from left field or anything. But one of the fans wants to know if you participated in the CFL PA survey. Are you even allowed to say?
Like the report cards, or what survey do you mean?
Yeah.
So I get to any of the current players get to fill out in the survey, and they collect it from all that. And it's like I said, I think it's a great thing. Not only is it a talking point for you guys and a lot of people, but just even the improvements across the league that have come out and happened from the first or second year. I think a lot of people might take it more negatively than it's intended, or that we intended. We are trying not to bash any teams. We just want to see the league grow and be in a better place. And usually if you have 100 and some comments about something, there is something wrong. So we just want to make sure all the players are heard, just like for GMs or owners or anything, players are always going to hear feedback about their performance. So it's just the same thing going the other way.
Nice.
Right on, man. Okay, well, take it easy on the ice there. Ease into it. Easy. None of that hard back checking that you're known for, right? Just ease into it. Ease into it, Brett. And
that's only if you have a breakaway.
Yeah, I remember. I was like, where did this guy come from? I'm old. Okay, no, but honestly, I wanted to tell you something, because you obviously talked about it. We haven't talked for a while here. I want to say thanks for always talking to the media and owning it. You're one of the few guys you got out there, and as soon as you start talking, knowing you a bit like I do, I was like, yeah, that's it. You didn't have the greatest year, but sometimes that happens in professional sports, and you sat there and you owned it, and you answered the questions. So thanks for doing that.
Oh, it's part of the job. So I'm very fortunate. I never take a day for granted that I get to wear green. And I'm not just saying this. I love being out here. I've moved my life out here. Yeah. Met my wife out here. I have my baby out here. I'm a rider for life regardless. And that's just part of the job, and it's how it should be, especially with the community-owned teams. So I appreciate you guys just as much.
Right. Thanks, on. Man. Okay.
Nice.
Diaper budget, daycare budget, and then sign up for those swim lessons as soon as you can. We'll see you at the rink, Brett.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
There he is, our kicker, Grey Cup champion, Brett Lauther, getting ready for the event up in Saskatoon, January 31st at the Belcher. It's in Saskatoon. I know a lot of people do drive up, and Saskatoon is the hub of the province, so it's good. Yeah. The Grey Cup's going to be there. Gainer's going to be there. I think Mark Johnston does this thing in the stands.
Yep.
It's actually a pretty cool event.
They got a great facility there in Saskatoon. It's well done.
That's a nice facility. And then I'm really, anyone else really curious in seeing Andrew Harris out there buzzing around? It'd be tough to move in front of the net.
He would be tough to push out.
Yeah. All right.
It's going to be a pretty decent cross check to get him out of there.
We want
No, sir. You're watching Andrew Harris and moving him out of the way.
Yeah. You take both of them. You put them both in front of the net. There you go. Crash that net.
Yeah.
I don't know who the goaltenders are, but yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. Tickets available, riderville.com/Winter Classic. Go on the Google. I'm sure you'll find everything. It's Team Getzlaf versus Team Lauther. We're hoping to get someone from Team Getzlaf, I think, next week. We'll go to break here. Coming up, Dohnte Meyers still to come in this hour. It is the Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Welcome back to the Sports Cage for Access Communications on this Thursday. Busy show, still more to get to. Of course, Sharky's with me when Sharky's here. He's for Flooring Superstore. Anything you need on the flooring front, cash carry prices can't be beat, or they'll find someone to do it if you're not a do-it-yourselfer. Western Pizza guest hotline time. Let's go out. You get the pickup specials or all the Greek favorites you love. We've been trying to track this guy down for a week, and we finally got him. Joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline, Dohnte Meyers. Dohnte, how's your day going today?
The day's going great. Thank y'all for having me. Time working out.
Yeah. Okay. Now, get this. How does this sound to you from your Wikipedia page? Dohnte Meyers is an American professional football wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals of the National Football League. How does that sound?
That is a blessing and an honor to, for that to be a reality. 6-year-old me would be very, very proud and happy.
Man, it's I go through your journey, and where you played college ball at Presbyterian and then Delta State, and those kind of guys don't get the opportunity, right? So when you, over the last week or few days here, are you going back to times where you were like, I don't know about this football journey. I don't know where it's going to go or what I'm doing.
Yeah, honestly, I've talked to my brother and my parents, because those are people I've kind of confided in at my lowest points during those times, because I always knew it would work out. But the times that just felt the hardest, recently I've been revisiting those conversations, and I don't know, I posted a video kind of when I was just talking to myself about just the hard times, and to be here now is kind of like, thank you, God, that I'm finally in this part of the journey.
Go ahead.
When do you, I got to ask you this before you get to Cincy and then just how everything's going to work. When do you find out about Saskatchewan and the Saskatchewan Roughriders and maybe the CFL?
Okay, so I've known about the CFL my whole life. My baseball coach is like a mentor, a second father. His brother, Paul Sansone, he's known about the league. He's been in multiple Grey Cups. And he always mentioned, he was like, if the NFL doesn't work out, like you can play in the CFL and you will do very, very well. Because I played running back growing up, but I was always like a kind of natural athlete. So I didn't transition to receiver till college, and I made it to college because of my return ability. He was like, in the CFL, they have that 5-yard halo. You get an opportunity to return. That will suit you. That's a good opportunity for you. And it honestly didn't come to fruition to about 2023 when I had an open tryout in Atlanta, Georgia, for Saskatchewan that I ended up signing like 2 or 3 weeks later.
Cool story.
It is a cool story. Part of that story, though, you've come a long way to get now back to the NFL because you had a chance there, right? You're going back again. What would you tell a young guy that you meet at a small college to say, here's what the CFL offers you and what it can do for you as a second chance to play?
I would say that it's a beautiful opportunity if you want to play professional football and make your dreams a reality. I think a lot of guys don't really understand how fun playing professional football is. And there's kind of a disconnect between it's NFL or bust. Like, I was talking to my mother the other days. I was telling her that I've had my most fun playing football in my whole career last year. And there's not many things that can kind of satisfy that feeling. The game, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the experience. And that's really what you look for when you're playing this game. Like, it's not the accolades, it's not, the big name. Like, you're playing this child's game for the fun. Like everybody always says, make sure you have fun with it. And the CFL is fun.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Dohnte, and I appreciate that comment that it is fun.
Who's been the biggest influence on your success since you've got to Saskatchewan, would you say?
In terms of off the field or more so like teammates?
Both, yeah.
Off the field, I'll say, I can't say one person. I will have to say that my family or my parents, just because they sacrificed and invested so much into me to kind of make this dream alive, whether it's taking me to practice, training, just making sure that I was able in a position to chase my dream wholeheartedly and not kind of have to sacrifice any other components of my life, either dream or job or dream or move out, or I was just able to. They was able to be the air under my wings to make sure I can fly and just keep on going, no matter how long the journey takes. And as far as teammate wise, like that's another hard one, man. Like I have everybody's like they're like family now. So I would say it would be between either Trevor or I would say my top 3 is Trevor, Keyshawn, and Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Nice.
are like, I'm like, B, Sam, and Keyshawn, those are like my brothers for real. We're together all day, every day, sharing like our hearts on and off the field. Our families overlap. Like, we're really close. And Trevor, he's just like the big brother. And like I knew him before I got up there. So before I was able to establish like friendships with Keyshawn and Sam, like Trevor always made sure I was good. And we just connected on a whole nother level.
You seem very family oriented. You talked about mom and dad already a couple here. Have they come up to Saskatchewan?
Yeah, so my mom did. My dad, he's not a big flyer. So
It's a long drive.
The whole 2-3 flights kind of didn't make sense for him. And no, he did. He came to the Grey Cup. I'm tripping. He came to the Grey Cup. But last year they didn't get to come. But this year my mom and little brother came to Saskatchewan, and my best friend came to the West Final. But my mom, dad, Coach Paul, and Drew, they all came to the Grey Cup, though. Made sure they had to come. They had to.
Sweet.
So you talk about the Grey Cup game, and obviously what an exciting time for Saskatchewan Roughriders to be Grey Cup champions. What are you going to take from that as you prepare for the next step with Cincinnati? What are you going to take from that win, and how's that going to help you prepare for the Bengals?
Well, I feel like playing in Sask and those important games are just experience that I have in the back pocket. I know what it's like to experience the distractions. You guys know the Grey Cup, you spend a whole week preparing for the biggest game of the year in a hotel. So you got 6 a.m. meetings, you got to drive to the field. That's not your home field. You kind of have a pseudo locker room. You got to, after practice, you got to have meetings, and then media, you kind of all over the place. You don't have a regular regimen. So I feel like that experience, and it's high stakes. So I feel like experiencing that and coming out on top, that's something I could glean from what I needed, handling the distractions, handling the stage, and handling the moment, and most importantly, keeping the main thing, which is making sure we come out Grey Cup champions and letting our 6-7 months of hard work, go to waste.
Hey, you know what? The Grey Cup is one thing, man. But let's go back to that West Final and that last minute and 4 seconds and how that went down at Mosaic Stadium. You're a part of that. You want pressure. You want excitement. It was all wrapped up there, and your boy, Trevor Harris, marched that field methodically.
Yeah. Honestly, that was my favorite drive of the year, I would have to say.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like everybody got to see, what we're truly made of. A lot of times, I feel like in the past, teams have come short, but our coaching staff, Coach Mace, Mueller, Coach Harris, Coach Quaid, we practiced that stuff all the time. So we were ready for the moment. And then, we got the sheriff at the helm, and he's dealing. He got our back. He's driving the field, giving the ball to where the ball needs to go and making the right reads. So that was amazing, honestly. Just to be a part of that and to honestly put the hard work and get an opportunity to show that, this is the product that you get when you work hard and you stay consistent and you stay committed and you trust the process.
Now you go to Cincinnati Bengals training camp. You're obviously very excited about that opportunity, but what did that feel like? What did it feel like to Dohnte to get that call and say, you're coming to our camp, we're signing you to a contract, wish your time in Saskatchewan well, but you're moving on?
Honestly, it was amazing, but I don't think it's truly set in. I feel like I was just okay. I was just more so grateful and had a sense of gratitude. I'm really thankful that this is the reality of my life now, And the flip side of it is the hard worker and the underdog, the small school, 0-star athletes. All right, well, this opportunity, let's go to work. It's time to go to work. I got how much time do I have before I have to report? Okay, it's time to get in this off season. Last year I was hurt and during my off season I had to rehab, but now I can go back in the lab and be ready.
Yeah,
love it.
What are you gonna change up on the training front now as maybe you get ready for the NFL and Cincinnati's camp?
Well, I think most importantly, my focus is having a true off season. And what that means is rest, recover, look at the mistakes and things that I didn't like of this past season, build on those, continue to build on my strengths, and also improve on my weaknesses. And so, me and my training staff, my team, go back to work, look at, create a perfect plan, and start knocking off days, whether it's conditioning, sizing the field, get the back training on. Because in this past offseason, I was training on soccer fields to kind of get used to the CFL's game. It's just a big field. So
it's a big field.
That I'm in shape. I got to make sure that my body's in optimal position to perform at its highest level. And, that's kind of tailored to now it's a different size field. So little nuances like that, you kind of just make sure, okay, how can I get 1% better in every aspect of the game?
Now you're going to go find an elementary school gymnasium and train in there, the tight quarters. Have they given you any feedback, or does anybody talk to you from the Bengals to be like, okay, here's camp and all this, here's some things to work on, or does your agent or does your trainer say, here's some things that we need to work on? Anything passed on to you?
So no, they haven't really told me anything in regards to something I should focus on. But in my trainers, they have a lot of pro experience, so they're familiar with what that transition looks like, whether it's from college to NFL, changing positions, and more so, they've been really closely involved in my CFL training. So, okay, things that we had to tailor to the CFL, okay, now we can have to focus on rerouting that back to the NFL version.
Okay, maybe last one for me. Who's your favorite receiver, or who's the receiver that you emulate yourself after?
So I would say 3. They're kind of older, but not. So Antonio Brown on the field. I like on the field. Just on the field. I love his game though. Just more so as a smaller receiver, not only his production, but for his impact and efficiency on the game. Whether it's route running, his playmaking ability, his size didn't matter. Number 2, I would say Doug Baldwin, similar receiver, slot, create a lot of separation, also undrafted underdog, so not only just his work ethic, but his production and the kind of routes in his schemes. I like his game a lot. And then thirdly, I say Dante Hall from the Chiefs.
What the hell? Good picks, my man.
Good mix.
Okay.
Good mix.
Last one. What did you take in school, out of curiosity?
So when I transferred, I changed my major, but I was a social justice and criminology major.
Right on.
Good for you, man.
You're well spoken.
Yeah.
Well spoken, man. This is a lot of fun. Everybody in Sasky's rooting for you.
Yeah,
man. I love Sask. Special place in my heart. Trust me, special place in my heart.
Yeah,
glad to hear.
Right on. A lot of Tegan, who hosts it, she's waiting to buy a jersey.
Yeah,
a Bengals jersey. She's a big Bengals fan with Myers on the back. So you know what? We'll hang one up here.
Yeah.
In the SportsCage studio when you're on that field.
I'm honored.
When you're balling. Dohnte, congratulations. Tell your parents we said hi here from the SportsCage as well. Great interview. We're really rooting for you, man. Thanks for doing this.
And thank you, man. Thank y'all for having me. Love talking, love sharing the story. Man, the Sask is always, that green and white is always good with me.
Right on.
Love it. Thanks, man.
You go and get it in Cincy.
I'll take it. Sir.
Right on. There he is. Grey Cup champion.
Yes.
Now Cincinnati Bengal.
All-star.
Dohnte Meyers. How can't you love that guy?
Yeah.
I don't care. Everyone tuning in, even if you're not even a Rider fan.
Yeah, nice young man, well spoken.
Yeah,
just really impressive. Yeah.
I love the grind.
Yeah,
like Presbyterian, and then to
some other
Delta State, which could or could not be. Just grinding to get there,
and never stopped working.
And he said, I knew it was going to work out. How good was he the last 2 years? You saw it not even this past year, to win the Grey Cup.
Yep.
The year before, everyone was like, Dohnte Meyers.
We got something coming on here. Yeah.
You seen this Dohnte Meyers guy?
Yeah.
And there's a few others too. Robustelli.
Keyshawn.
Comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's great. Really, really happy.
Where did Robustelli even go to school?
His story is, he's working at, what was he doing? UPS?
UPS driver or something?
Yeah, something ridiculous. Yeah.
It is a Sports Cage. We're on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM, and we're also streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. Welcome back to the Sports Cage on this Thursday for Access Communications. Sharky's in the house, and he is for Flooring Superstore. Trent Dickin and his team over 20 years in the business. If you need any flooring done. Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation having a winter breakaway 50-50. So they're bringing the 50-50 into the winter time.
Of course
Smart.
Of course they are.
People want to sprinkle. People want to buy some 50-50s in the winter.
And they've had some decent prizes, so why wouldn't you want to be in on their 50-50?
Guaranteed payout. Billy guaranteed $50,000.
Guaranteed.
Bonus prize. I miss this place so much. Speaking of having kids and not being able to go anywhere. Mexico all-inclusive vacation, round-trip flights to Cancun, so the Mayan side, 7 nights at the Paradisius Playa del Carmen. That is a nice place. There's a golf course there, I think, in the Mayan Riviera. Or you can take $6,000 cash, Canadiano. And then the early bird prize.
What's the early bird?
Leafs game and Blue Jays season opener. That'll be big. Round trip flights to Toronto.
Leafs should be out of the playoffs by then.
4 nights in a downtown hotel. They don't name it. 2 tickets to the Rangers Leafs March 25. 2 tickets to the Blue Jays season opener against your Sacramento Athletics. Wonder what are they going as?
They're not
Las
Vegas yet, are they? No, they're not
still
Vegas.
being built. That's going to be a sweet backdrop for it. We were just there a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
It's coming along. There's going to have
good.
Bally's is building a tower there. Well, the backdrop's going to be Vegas over the fence. And my wife and I renewed our vows at the Tropicana 5 years ago. So we can always say we got married on that field.
You got married twice.
It's a big deal.
You got married twice.
They didn't get the trademark for the Las Vegas Athletics, though. Did you see that?
No.
They filed for it, but somebody else already has it.
Oh, some pigeon.
Somebody just put it in front of them, or like it's an old trademark?
I think it was in like the last 10, 15 years somebody has it. So it's old enough that it's like legitimate claim, but yeah.
Still a lot to get to on the show.
That could be erroneous.
After
further research.
Okay, 17 years ago. Yesterday we talked. Thanks to everybody who participated yesterday.
17 years ago.
Bathroom attendants.
That was big.
And men's cologne.
Perry
I
Ellis
knew
was
it would
great.
go over well.
Perry Ellis was a great.
Don't know
great
what
smell.
you have to bring it in. I need to smell some Perry Ellis. I told my wife last night, next time we're at a duty-free shop, I need to smell jupe. I need to get that smell back. But anyway, 17 years ago today, hard to believe.
17 years ago.
Sully Sullenberger.
That's how long it's been?
Landed that bird on the Hudson.
It's 17 years since he did that. Wow.
Isn't it?
Time just flies by.
So don't get me all up in arms. But I'm an aviation kook. I love it.
Do you?
Yeah, when stories like this happen, I just really go deep. The Malaysia 370 flight.
That's still missing.
I went hours and hours and hours, and my wife's like, what are you doing up at 4 watching CNN? But this...
Your wife's not the only one asking that question.
Was something... it was 2009. United Airways, flight 1549. That's not supposed to happen. You think... Sorry if you're taking a flight tonight or tomorrow you're listening.
To New York.
You're not... when they... Just all the stuff I've watched. When a plane hits the water like that, it's supposed to turn and then break up.
Yes.
Water landing, they practice it. They go through it. I don't know if BJ or Linford are listening, who friends that are pilots for WestJet. It's not supposed to happen. It's not easy.
They don't practice it on water. They just practice it in a simulation.
Back to Brett Lauther and his box breathing. Talk about pressure for Sully.
It is amazing. It is amazing what he did.
And then just that picture, because that water would have been cold.
It would have been cold. Yeah.
And just that really happened. And the other thing that I always think about was there wasn't a lot of really good. You think Hudson, New York, and if you've ever been there, it is just the concrete jungle. The only camera footage they have is like at a dock and it coming in like in you would
Yeah,
have
it was
thought
limited as to how. Well, I guess cameras wouldn't be focused on the river all the time. Why would they be?
2009, come on.
2009 cameras were still relatively new for that sort of thing.
No, they weren't.
They were.
2000 was that BlackBerry time or was that already Apple time?
Oh, I think we're still in the Blackberries then.
17 years ago.
Yeah.
Sully Sullenberger
Loves my Blackberry.
landed that bird. I still have all mine. I think we've
man.
talked about this.
There's the video.
Yeah, this is all we got. It's like the Bigfoot video. We got grainy footage of him landing. That's all we could do.
It's the Bigfoot video.
Somebody didn't have anything better than that. It's the story just maybe it's just me. One of the greatest feats of all time to be able to do that.
Save
all these
It's a
people.
great accomplishment of what he did and how they saved all those people. And not only that, but then the boats got out and rescued and helped everybody out. That was a big part of that.
Things going on up in Saskatoon. The basketball team that's now going to be known as the Saskatoon basketball team. Saskatchewan
Rattlers?
professional basketball team. Yeah, the Rattlers. They got rid of the name. And I think the league took it over. They're changing things, but they're still going to play in the league. It's going to start in May and continue on. They're waiting for a name. I hope they come up with a name. Go back to Storm or Slam.
Yeah.
Enough screwing around.
You don't have to be complicated about it.
If anybody remembers the Storm or Slam, here, 936-6262, Prairie Land Rentals text line. Do a lot of you have you gone to the Rattlers games?
No,
Rattlers
I
games?
have not been to one.
I heard it's very exciting. I heard it's good entertainment value. I would like to know. Do people go to that? Still a lot more to come. Let's go to break here. We'll come back with the ticker as we're getting primed up here for our friend Farhan Lalji here on the SportsCage. Let's start with the Canadian teams in action in the NHL. Montreal in Buffalo, Vancouver at Columbus, the Winnipeg Jets on a little mini heater in Minnesota. The Flames will Rasmus Anderson be in the lineup in Chicago against the Hawks. New York Islanders at the Edmonton Oilers, and Mitch Marner gets to play his old team. Toronto Maple Leafs are in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights. Prairie Junior Hockey League tonight. Regina Silver Foxes. Concession closes at 7:45. Puck drop at 7:45. Moosomin takes on the Silver Foxes. Saskatchewan U18 AAA boys. Regular season. Notre Dame Hounds at the Yorkton Maulers. 7:30. SportsCage.com poll today. The CFL wants to expand by 2030. Where do you think they should locate the 10th franchise? Let the crazies go. Vote at SportsCage.com.
Hey, who do you take, Columbus or Vancouver?
Columbus.
The dumpster fire?
Columbus.
They got a new coach.
Brick bonus.
Guys are going to want to play for him.
Oh, Vancouver's in tough spot.
Yeah.
Up against the clock here. Hour 2. We're going to have Special Olympian Taylor Carter, golfer from Regina, is going to join us. The clutch performer. We didn't get to Sprinkle of the Day. Or can we do it quick now? Let's do it quick now.
Okay.
Sprinkle of the Day for Sports Select. You want to talk NFL or do you want to talk hockey tonight?
Oh, I can go either way. What do you want to do?
SportsSelect.com. Make your picks online now. Generate your QR code. Lock it in at your Lotto Spot retailer. If you don't want to fill out the old forms, you still can do that. Must be 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
I think Winnipeg's heater's coming to an end.
We go down, Coulson, to the Winnipeg. What are the odds? Winnipeg's at Minnesota's. Go up. There we go. Minnesota's 195 on the pro line. Winnipeg 260. You can play the point spread. You can play it just one game right there because it's got the S. So you don't have to parlay it or play with anything else. Minnesota minus 5.
I'd take Chicago over the Flames. I'd take the Hawks.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can you go up to the...
What's that Columbus-Vancouver game look like?
Yeah, Columbus-Vancouver. Then you got to watch it. Right? That's the only other thing. SportsSelect.com. Play responsibly. Must be 18 plus to play. Cash in hand bet on the original. I know one guy that will be listening in the next 25 minutes. When we come back, we're going to have Farhan Lalji joining us. It's The Cage, streaming at SportsCage.com. Welcome back to The Cage on this Thursday for Access Communications. Sharky's in tow, brought to you by Flooring Superstore. Trent Dickin and his team, over 20 years in business on the flooring side of things. Winter meetings. We talked about that at the start of the show. Keep the clock. Keep the 3 minutes. I like that.
I do too. Yeah.
Recommended.
I don't know how you do that differently other than just keeping it. But yeah, I think that's an important part of the CFL game. It's pretty exciting, the last 3 minutes. Don't want to give that away.
Stuart Johnston also said that everything was approved by the Board of Governors. They're going through with the rule changes, so not bringing anything back.
And even
we're going to keep the goalposts.
Even the 55-yard line's going.
55 right? Sounds like she gone.
You know, and that was the one that from a cost standpoint across the league that they could have maybe kept out, but I get it.
Football operations cap. They discussed that as well. Kind of a bone of contention with some people. I get it.
It limits what you can do in season. Yes, it does.
To an extent. Anytime I talk to anyone, though, with the Riders, they're like, well, it's a budget. We got to work within the budget. And all that. We got good facilities, free lunches. That helps out.
The chef guy doesn't come under the operations cap. Yeah.
Stuart Johnston did talk about the football operations cap and if it was discussed this week.
The topic was definitely raised during the meetings. We had a discussion on that. We kind of went back to the genesis of when it was implemented, and certainly managing costs so teams understand cost certainty as we operate in a world where a number of our teams remain unprofitable was a key part of that. But also the balance against, our coaches are so incredibly important to the development of our players and the entertainment value of the game that's being put on the field. And so this topic is present as we have our conversations with all the presidents of each club, and will remain so going forward.
I get the cap idea from some cost certainty standpoint.
Totally get it.
Right? Get the budget standpoint, if you will, of making all that work. Like I say, it handcuffs you. If you've got some bad people, you might have to run short staff if you make a change, or if somebody leaves you for another reason or whatever the case might be. So that part always, you end up with a lame duck coach, if you will, running maybe your last half dozen games you may not want to have. But again, like you say, the Riders, it's part of the drill, right? It's part of the budget. You got to manage it. You got to move on.
A lot of people talking about the 2030. And maybe people are going to hold them to the fire on that. It's a kind of a loose, it's aggressive. 2030 isn't that far away for a 10th team, for expansion. You weren't here yesterday.
Listen,
Halifax or Quebec. And it's like, well, Quebec, the stadium's not that big. Again, my 2 cents on this, and sorry if I'm echoing it from yesterday, I think the league needs to go to a model where you're building it on 10 to 15,000 people. The days of 30,000 at Commonwealth, gone. Packed McMahon, day in, day out, gone. Even here in the hotbed of
the league.
Yeah, Winnipeg, I get it. Winnipeg fans are going to start coming at us. You guys are doing an awesome job there. I'll admit it. You just sell out. And sell out with still have empty seats because corporations are buying it. You can't get rid of the tickets and yada yada.
20 to 22,000 is a really comfortable set. And the other thing is you have to create a demand. You can't have what Edmonton's got, which is a 60,000 seat stadium, because there's no demand. You can walk up and get tickets any day. So there's no desire to become a season ticket holder because I don't have to worry about it, right? It's that old thing that when the Riders said everybody will always get in. No, you have to have a ticket. Right? You have to buy in advance.
Yeah,
right?
I don't even know if the demand thing in those markets, it's just where we are in 2026. And then it's like, we got to attract younger, fans. If you have kids, you explain how you're going to do that.
I think if Halifax doesn't want to step up and be a part of it, and they've said they don't want a stadium, they don't want to put any
it's so expensive
government money. But Quebec, I mean, if the turf's already there, we're just adding temporary seating around it, right? We're not talking about building the monolith that is Mosaic Stadium. We're not talking about that. We're talking about building something and making sure that it's prosperous and successful before we go ahead and make that big stadium development. I think if Halifax doesn't even want to put up a temporary one, go to Quebec City. Go to Kamloops.
No, not Kamloops in Kelowna. I don't think it's going to work. Dustin Nielsen was on yesterday. I just think that deep V-neck suntan guy on his boat and his convertible Corvette doesn't care about football in Kelowna. The Kelowna culture is like,
sorry if you're from Kelowna or slightly traumatized by that image.
Let's call a spade a spade. It's not like diehard football fans there.
That's the Halifax Stadium.
They'd probably get, you maybe get 4,000 or 5,000 on some days. Plus, it gets bloody hot.
It does.
And when it's hot, everybody wants to be ripping out and doing other things.
Beach stuff. I get it.
Personally, I just don't think the interior will work, but the instant rivalry with Quebec, and I don't think a lot of people say Quebec won't work because the Rouge et Or and what they have going on there.
Yeah, but it's a compliment to it, right? It's no different than Montreal won the Vanier and right, the Alouettes were in the Grey Cup, right? Like I don't see it as a conflict. It's a compliment to it. No different than the Huskies and the Rams and the Riders here. It's not a conflict. It's a compliment, and it's a way to make both clubs better and provide opportunities for both. And yeah, I see it as a positive all the way around.
Saskatoon can't see it. Unless now we're going to 5,000 to 7,000 people a game, because you're alienating, you're grabbing that whole northern part of the province and that Saskatoon area, and there's a lot of people in the hub. And then how the allegiance has always been to the Riders for the diehards.
That's right.
So now you're going to start cheering for the Saskatoon
Berries. Yeah.
Cobra Chickens.
Yeah. I mean, from a standpoint of could Saskatoon alone support a team? Maybe, but you've now cut the throat of another one in the league.
I'm from Saskatoon. Don't get, and I said this before, Saskatoon people, it's when you move here, Saskatoon's very different. This is a very government town. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong. They both have their good things. Saskatoon, closer to the north. That's what I like. Regina, closer to the border and to some of the flight options. So there's good. It's just Saskatoon people have always been aggressive that they can do everything. Like I've always joked, even when I was on TV there back in the day, I was like, Saskatoon people honestly think they could host the Olympics. Winter. Put them at Blackstrap or Table Mountain to ski. Like,
that's a heck of a run at Table Mountain. Yeah.
We're going to build this rink downtown, and it's like, have you seen the economic climate and what downtowns look like in the last 5 years? They're going to put a rink down there, so then they backed out of that. They
do. Saskatoon does have a much different economic climate than Regina has, simply from the number of businesses and the number of operations there. And as much as PA likes to call itself the gateway to the north, you got to go through Saskatoon first to get there, because you got to land the plane somewhere to get on and move on to the north. So Saskatoon it's a mining hub. It's got all that stuff going on. Saskatoon's a very prosperous city. I don't think they can host the Olympics.
To an extent. Hey, PA, I still think you're the gateway to the north. I've seen that bridge. I've seen that bridge on a long weekend when things are packed. Yeah, you are the gateway to the north.
There's only Rodman Road. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you got one of them, one of the vehicles that go on the water, like a duck boat, you go land to water. And PA still buzzing to the north. No doubt about it. We're good to go. And then just fill the stadium. When people are talking about the CFL, it's always good. That whole thing's coming up too.
It is. It's always good. Yep.
Is it? So if you talk about a business, if you say go to a restaurant and be like, found a bunch of hair in my food, saw a mouse running on the ground, and then you post that and you talk about that restaurant, is that good? So that's like the marketing person in me that I've been in for 20 years. It's like, no, not all publicity is good publicity. It's like sometimes if you're calling something garbage, or if you're saying something's not good, all that, and you have a voice, that's good?
No.
So it's can we get away from that? Talk to the Wuhan wet market on the publicity and how that went for there. Closed. Shut. They got all the publicity in the world.
Yeah.
And everybody in the world talking
about it. They're out
of
business. Yeah.
All publicity is not good publicity.
No, not everything works out perfectly every time.
If you're crapping on something and calling it bad, there's a good chance it's not a good thing.
It's not going to work out. Yeah.
Hit it when you want, Colson.
It's time to get the inside story. TSN's Farhan Lalji on SportsCage is brought to you by the Cooperators. Time to get financially fit? Cooperators can build a plan that works for you. Cooperators, investing in your future together.
There he is, our football and TSN insider, Farhan Lalji. Let's start with the Canucks. Farhan, what's going on? Just kidding. You know what we're going after. Why? The tweet about I like it. The tweet about short yardage quarterbacks and our boy Tommy Stevens. The floor is yours. Make sense of that for our listeners.
Well, look, first of all, I do want to apologize to Tommy because, first of all, I don't know Tommy. I wasn't there to disparage Tommy, and my opinion is not based on Tommy. So I made there were a couple things I tweeted that were responses to someone else's suggestions, and I probably misread some of their suggestions. and responded in a way I shouldn't have, and I deleted the tweets, not because I was trying to run from them. It's just that I didn't want to make this about Tommy. Like, I just didn't. And I know in Saskatchewan, we always talk about the rider persecution complex, right? So, they don't like how we're running short yardage, and now we're winning, and they're trying to legislate what we're doing because everybody's against us. And that's just not what this is. I believe this league's got to be in a position to develop quarterbacks. And I don't want to see a trend where 9 of 27 quarterback spots are potentially, and they're not now, but 9 of 27 quarterback spots are potentially taken by guys that teams don't believe will ever be a solution for them at the quarterback position, right? And, I think Calgary went through a bit of an exercise, and, as effective as Tommy was, they kind of knew he wasn't going to be that guy for them. When you look at the Saskatchewan situation, he's actually not their number 3 quarterback. He's their number 4 quarterback, right? I mean, if they had a bunch of injuries, Jack Cohn would probably be on the field as a full-time quarterback, ahead. But, the problem is you say something like that and now people say, you think he sucks. I didn't say that. Like, this guy played Division I football. He, started games at Mississippi State. Like, he's had some success in the sport at a high level. It hasn't necessarily worked out for him as a starter at this level. So it's not like I'm sitting here trying to take his job away. This is not about Tommy Stevens. So while I apologize to Tommy, my opinion on the issue hasn't changed. And to be honest, I know there are governors and GMs that share my opinion. Obviously, Jeremy O'Day's not one of them. But, this league, the drop-off right now in most places, Saskatchewan not being one of them, the drop-off between starter and backup is massive. Like, it's as big a gap as I have ever seen in my 30 years around the league, which is more than many CFL players that are opining on the topic, right? So I want to see that change. And it's hard for teams right now because of what's going on in the States with NIL and things like that. Like, I remember having a conversation with Dave Dickinson. This was back when Tommy was still a Stampeder. And again, it wasn't about Tommy. It was just about the issue of the drop-off at backup quarterback and what we can do to potentially develop more. And he told me at the time that there were teams that actually felt like they were just bringing in a specialist because it was hard for them to get a legitimate third quarterback option, somebody that they were excited to see and develop, right? And so that's the problem, right? Like, what do we do to get more guys up here? We need to get them up here. We need to get them rostered. We need to get them on the field. We need to find ways for that type of player to be furthered, right? So that's kind of where my opinion is coming from. It's not about Tommy. I'm not trying to disparage him, and I know he was a valuable member of the Riders, so I apologize to him. But again, my opinion on the topic, not the player, my opinion on the topic isn't changing.
So my question to everybody when they talk about we have to develop quarterbacks, there's a worldwide shortage. Like, it's not unique to the CFL, right? The NFL's got the same thing. If you get into the second guy in lots of NFL teams, he's just as terrible as my Aunt Agnes. So the point being...
Great lady.
She's a nice lady. Nice, raises lovely lilies. How do we go... What does this quarterback development thing look like? Everybody talks about it all the time. What do we say? The second quarter, you got to play your backup quarterback?
No, I don't think that. But, like, look, when this whole concept of players coming onto the field to replace the starter began, it was around the 80s. I remember here in BC when we had a guy named Tim Cowan that would come in for Roy DeWalt. I remember when Damon Allen came in for Matt Dunnigan in Edmonton and things like that. And I don't know that that's necessarily the development model, but I think there's a lot of layers to it, right? Like, for example, the CFL got rid of passing camps around a decade ago because of the cost involved with that. And not everybody could do that at the same level. Maybe we need to go back to that. Maybe we need to find some sort of OTA model and things like that in the offseason. Maybe we need to take quarterbacks out of the cap and raise their salaries so that a rookie quarterback coming into this league can't make under $100,000, right? Like, we need to find ways to incentivize recruitment at the position and development at the position. And you're right. Like, I don't have all the answers for what it needs to look like. We are seeing more and more where these guys are getting the opportunity in preseason. We've got fewer preseason games than we had, let's say, I'm trying to think of what year the league went from 4 preseason games to 2. And it's difficult to go through 4. The NFL is finding that out right now, shrinking their preseason schedule to 3. But, could you even get combined practices, right? Where two teams just, they get together like they do in the NFL. Like, are there other windows there where you can create evaluation opportunities? Because it's not only the development piece, it's evaluation. So how did Saskatchewan get their quarterback? They went out and got an aging quarterback who's established, right? Like, let's go through the laundry list of quarterbacks that came into a team and had a development path, Okay? Davis Alexander, Nathan Rourke. I'm waiting.
You're going to wait a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, you go back to Bo Levi Mitchell. When the Calgary Stampeders brought him in, they had a development path that in year 3, he's going to be our starter. And this is what we need to do. We need to get a stopgap around it. But, back then that organization had such cachet, and they had so many, great quarterbacks coming through the system that they were afforded time and patience. Now in this league, everything's about today. Whoever was last year that missed the playoffs, next year's going to be expected to win the Grey Cup in their fan base. You know what I mean? Like, we don't get the opportunity to develop. So coaches are on the hot seat and they feel a level of pressure to do it now. And so we take shortcuts, right? So everybody's going out to try to find guys that maybe were developed elsewhere, and now we can get them in. So the only way to get a chance to play is if someone in front of you gets hurt. Do you know what I mean? Like, would Nathan Rourke have even got the opportunity he got if Mike Riley, if his elbow was totally messed up in training camp and he couldn't even get a rep, right? So Nathan got all the reps. It was like Nathan and Shea Patterson. And the choice there was pretty obvious, right? So, it takes extreme circumstances for most quarterbacks to get an opportunity. So you need to see them get evaluated before you can even see them get developed. So there are things like that, can we create more practice opportunities, game opportunities? Like when I say game, I mean preseason games. Can we do the camp thing, with the off-season passing camps? Like there's things that they need to invest in, and ultimately it's going to cost money. And in the case of organizations, it's going to cost a level of commitment. Okay, so let's real quick, I'm going to digress to the NFL. Okay?
Yep.
Brock Purdy. Everybody talked about how people missed on Brock Purdy and things like that in San Francisco. You know what happened in San Francisco? Kyle Shanahan is one of the most respected minds in the National Football League. And John Lynch knows that if I fire this guy, it'll take him about 30 seconds to go get another job. So he has juice and clout in that organization. So when Kyle Shanahan comes to training camp with the final pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, and he goes to John Lynch and says, hey, this guy is better for what my needs are than the guy we just traded a ton of draft picks for the previous year. Here it is. Do what you want with it. And John Lynch is like, all right, I better listen to this guy. You know what I mean? And those situations are so rare in this sport, because everybody has to win today.
What other pro leagues, I'm trying to think, and I don't think there is one, that would do this, that would say, okay, we need to start developing goaltenders. Like, you think the league is to put people in the stands to win games, to win championships. I get what you're saying. How many people would be on board for that? Because it's like, now we're talking development, right? We're almost talking like minor sports to an extent.
It's a fair question, but also understand that all the other sports have minor league models, right?
Yeah.
The NFL doesn't, but they've got the NCAA, right? So in our league here, we've got to look at it that much differently, is that we've got to, we're trying to pick their guys off. Then there's the odd unicorn in youth sports, but it's rare. Trey Ford hasn't worked out yet, and we've not seen Taylor Elgersma. So again, like, we're waiting for that guy. We're less and less likely to get, the second tier. There was a time where, the athletic quarterback that the NFL wasn't looking for came to the CFL. Well, now the NFL is looking for that guy. So there's so many layers to it. So for the CFL teams to identify a team or a player, recruit them, and make sure that, they want to come, one of the other problems is the neg list, right? Like, if you go look at every team's neg list, there are so many quarterbacks. There's teams with a 40-man neg list that have 10 players that are quarterbacks. That's insane. Take every quarterback off the neg list. Have your neg list, but no quarterbacks. So if the best quarterback's available and 3 teams want to bid on him, great. Because if you bid on him and instead of paying 75, you're paying him 100 to get him up here, you're more likely to invest practice time in him and really get a good look at him and put him on your development path, right? So those are some other things that you got to identify, not only the uniqueness of skill set for this league, but interest and availability, right? So, baseball has minor leagues, hockey has minor leagues. You can cut your teeth. Even the basketball has the G League and the D League or whatever it's called right now, but football doesn't have that. And the NFL has it to a point with the NCAA, and now you're going to see guys in the NCAA stay longer because of all the NIL money, so they're developed more. But if those guys have made $5 million of NIL for a couple of years, they're not coming to Canada.
Is it cyclical? No. Is it cyclical to a point? Because you kind of go back, and I'm trying to think. Watching with my dad on CBC back in the '80s, and it was like there wasn't who got brought in. Like Tracy Ham, I felt always was the guy, the short yardage. Is it cyclical, or is it going to take some sort of rule changes here? Because in basketball, right? When's the last time we saw a 6'9" guy that all he did is rebounded and put it in? Like that game changed. Are things going to maybe change eventually and evolve on its own, Farhan, or do you think there needs to be changes to kind of things that you're talking about?
No, like you need a plan, right? Like you either have a plan or you have hope, and hope is not a plan. So
that's what I told my financial guy.
Yeah, me too, right? Like we're living that. So. You when I looked at some of the suggestions I talked about, you've got people at the governor level and coach the coaching level that are far more advanced at this than me. But there are ideas there. There just has to be a commitment, and sometimes with commitment comes cost. But there's education, there's more promotion, things like that. Like there has to be a commitment to making this happen, because right now everybody thinks micro. Very few teams think macro, and as a league they've got to start thinking macro on this particular topic, because everybody knows it and people kind of touch on it in dribs and drabs at these meetings, but nobody comes away with a concrete plan. And I'm telling you, like, you've still got Trevor Harris and Bo Levi Mitchell and Zach Collaros, who are late 30s, Trevor 40, and they are among the gold standard, and I love those guys, like every one of them. But, which of those teams has the next guy in the queue? Is it Jake Mayer? Is it Jack Cohn in SAS? We'll see. They're closer to a solution than most. Excuse me, I'm just getting over something here. Is Taylor Powell going to be that guy in Hamilton, or is somebody going to take him? Because I think there's interest in Taylor Powell league-wide. You look at... but you go around the league and look for where the backups are, and there's a lot of concern league-wide, right? Like Winnipeg doesn't have a plan B. Taylor Elgersma, if he comes here, he may get an opportunity to get to number 2 soon, but I don't think he's got any interest in coming anytime soon. So they got to find ways they've got to find some solutions and commit to a long-term plan for the benefit of the league, not individual teams.
For a guy that coaches and your kids playing and you watch so much football and you're covering it as well, and you go back to the Nathan Rourke example, and I'm just sitting here wondering, like, if that's how it went down, where it was almost like fluke that he got in and we see what he can do, is that a bit of a scouting issue as well? Because you guys are talking about the shortage of quarterbacks, but then we just talked to Dohnte Meyers that played at 2 schools we'll never hear of. There was quarterbacks there. Is it like a scouting? Because there's got to be athletes out there, or am I wrong?
Yeah, look, I think it's all of it, right? And to be truthful, like, while, you can say there's a shortage in both leagues that you guys were saying earlier, the other side of it is that quarterbacks are training at a higher level than they ever have before, right? Like the advent of 7-on-7 and, private quarterback training. And, like I said, like you said, my son's a quarterback. And so like I live this side of it. There are guys out there, but it's just now they're moving so much more than they ever have, right? Like quarterbacks at the collegiate level, they're constantly moving up and down levels. And if you don't get a chance in the next 1 or 2 years, you're not going to develop. You're just going to move on into the portal. And so, you've got to track these guys. You've got to find them. You've got to find a scouting network. But I think the league needs to take a collaborative approach to the issue, as opposed to everyone figure your own thing out, right? I think the league needs to go out, and whether it's a quarterback committee that goes out and finds 20 guys that they think are, talented and interested and available. And, kind of eliminate the neg list process a little bit and just go look at these guys. Do you want to have just quarterback combines or camps for these guys that maybe aren't going to get an NFL look, but are going to be right there at the next level? Like, I think that there needs to be just a focus on that position, because it's so critical. And, you mentioned the Lions thing. When Nathan Rourke came out of college, he was not a refined passer by any stretch of the imagination. He was much more of a running quarterback. And honestly, the best thing that happened to Nathan Rourke was COVID, because during that COVID year, he got together with Rob Williams, a quarterback coach, and developed a significantly higher level of velocity than he possessed when he left Ohio. So now you have his natural work ethic and intellect and acumen, couple that with now new arm and the legs that he already had, that additional year where he was able to buy time, and then, Mike Riley shows up and his elbow's not ready for camp. Like a lot of things kind of went in together. Some of it's serendipitous to make that work for him. And not everybody gets that opportunity, right? So some guys you get a couple of reps in a practice and then that's it. People have moved on. And that's just the reality of pro sports. So is there another mechanism to get those guys evaluated before they get into these buildings?
So you talk about the development part, and we'll use Drew Brown as the example in Ottawa. He gets a chance to play, stumbles, gets injured, maybe doesn't have as much success they want. Because it's a business and they want to win, right? They've got to figure that out quickly. They're developing Drew Brown. Is it the way that Drew Brown wants to be developed, or is it the way that the Ottawa franchise wants him to turn out? To develop, you have to lose. Do you know what I mean? You can't start at the top and develop. To develop, you've got to come from the bottom. Is that, well, Davis Alexander, even he was on the roster in Montreal for a couple of years, right? And got some playing time behind McLeod, Bethel Thompson, etc. before he became a bigger player. So I think part of the development model is you got to lose, and teams don't want to lose.
Well, yeah, but like Drew Brown did get those opportunities that you want when he was in Winnipeg, right? Mm-hmm. He was behind Zach Collaros on the depth chart. He got mentored by him. He learned from him, and the offensive staff that were there. And then eventually when Zach had some injuries, he got enough of a small sample size that Ottawa said, okay, kind of he's that next guy, right? That he's got a few games, so the game itself isn't going to be too big for him. We'll take a shot on him, right? That's kind of how Mike Riley got in the door, right? Some injuries, you get a few games, and then you kind of elevate, and he goes from BC behind Travis Lulay to getting a full-time opportunity in Edmonton, and some guys hit and some guys don't, and Drew hasn't hit yet because he's had injury issues in Ottawa. Now he's going to get Ryan Dinwiddie, and Ryan Dinwiddie is as good a play caller as there is in the CFL, and when you look at what Ryan got out of Nick Arbuckle, I think he can get a lot out of Drew Brown. So, I think Tommy Condell was a very good offensive coordinator as well that he had there previously, but Dinwiddie might be a better fit. Who knows, right? To get the most out of him. So we're going to find out real quick this year in Drew Brown whether or not he is that guy, right? Because if if it doesn't work out for him under Ryan Dinwiddie, then do you go back to being a backup? I don't know, right? Do you eventually circle back to Winnipeg and think that's a better situation for me? And when Zach Collaros retires, then maybe I go there. Like I don't know, but you kind of get a couple of these windows to do this, and once you get to play, you kind of get two windows to do it, and if you don't, then teams are going to view you differently.
Getting a lot of text messages over the last couple of days, Farhan, and I want to get your take on contract lengths. A lot of people messaging in saying, we need longer contracts for these guys. I don't think it happens. I don't think it's strategic business-wise. What would be your take on maybe having longer contracts in the CFL?
Yeah, I think it's good, and I think the last CBA incentivized that a little bit, and with the guarantees on the back end that not many people have gotten. But and to be honest, I'm impressed with the number of teams I've seen re-sign their free agents in the past month that have signed them to 2 and 3 year deals. Mainly 2. There's been the odd 3-year deal like Katzentonis and Hamilton, but most of them have been 2-year deals. But it sure beats all the 1-year deals we would get every year, right? And I think players are also realizing that there isn't necessarily a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? So if you can get a little bit of certainty, I think the players want that too. And these contracts, they've all got outs. If you want to go try the NFL, everyone wants to, in many cases, renegotiate before their final year anyway. So, I think it is slowly tilting in favor of the players in that regard, which I think is a good thing. But the more 2-year deals I'm seeing, it encourages me for sure, because I do think longer is better.
I agree with you. They're not guaranteed, though. They're not like NHL money or baseball. So football contracts aren't guaranteed, but it gives your organization a little more of a view to the vision or view to the future, if you will, if they're signing guys for 2 years.
Okay, we got about a minute and a half here. What else are you pulling from the winter meetings that's intrigued you?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, the two things that we talked about, and truthfully, I really hope that at some point they modify the 3 minutes, the final 3 minutes. I know the final 3 minutes are now going to be what they've been to this point. And I think there's a way there where you can still go with the play clock, but start it at a different time. So the big fear is, no lead is safe. And then, if you get a first down, then you can run 35 seconds off 3 straight plays. And that means you can kneel out, a minute 45, which nobody wants. So I do think that there are some tweaks you can have to the new timing rules in the final 3 minutes, which still allow for those comebacks, don't allow you to kneel it out. I wish that had gotten more conversation this time around, and it didn't. But I think once the coaches next year get used to the new play clock, I think they'll be more open to adapting the final 3 minutes as well, because I want comebacks. I also want urgency. And right now, in those final 3 minutes, I still see a lot of checkdowns. I still see a lot of huddling. And I'd like to see a little less of that in those urgent moments.
Work in progress. That's what I'm kind of hoping for as well too.
Yep.
We didn't even get to chat. We didn't even get to talk NFL. Maybe I'll have to text you. Give me some insider picks.
I'll be at the Seahawks. Listen, this is a kiss of death. I'll do something I never do. I pick the Bills. So I'm picking the Bills this week, and picking the Seahawks, picking the Rams. What's the game I'm missing? Houston and
the Patriots.
Yeah, I got to pick the Patriots.
Oh,
you're taking Buffalo. You have been sick this week. You're not thinking clearly. I think
I never pick Buffalo. I'm picking Buffalo this week.
I think Denver.
Which means the Broncos are going to win.
All right. Well, Chat, thanks for owning that and come on here. And I know Tommy was probably listening. So appreciate you as always.
Take care, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. You
there
too.
he is. Brought to you by the Cooperators, our NFL insider Farhan Lalji joining us. I don't know. Text messages are blowing up. It's, a lot of can't read. A lot of them can't read. Let's go to that. Okay. We'll get to more 936-6262 Prairieland Rentals text line. We'll read some of those as we come up here. You know what I learned? One of the biggest things from there is benefiting from COVID. You got Zoom and all the video conferencing, Pfizer, Nathan Rourke. Add him to the list.
Add him to the list.
Benefited from COVID. SportsCage, we're streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com and on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Okay, clutch performer, first off from me, Sharky. It almost happened last night, and then I would have had the video, and I would have been able to play it for people that are watching on the stream.
Okay.
Pat Canadians, Saskatoon Contacts last night. Contacts with 3 APs on the back end gave the Patsies all they could handle. Pulled their goalie at the end of the game. Young Adam Montaigne almost. So I know we were like, well, it's not a clutch performer, but the reason he's my clutch performer, he also had 2 assists. So he would have had 2 assists and a goal.
Does he climb ahead of his father in terms of career points then, or what?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Robbie, text in. Let us know who's ahead. Yeah.
Let us know. Do you have one?
No, I didn't. I'm poorly prepared.
Colson, do you have one?
Regina Pats, come on.
Oh, 7-0.
Yeah. That was a beatdown.
Yeah, and I believe that was the first shutout for that goaltender as well. Yeah.
No, that was a second.
Nope. What Tegan said today, it was his first.
Come on.
I go with Tegan over you. She's at all the games. She knows she's in the inn.
You're telling me I'm stupid.
Anyways.
Yeah, okay.
Shutout. 7-0. Good job, Regina Pats. And then my last one. I'm going back 17 years ago. Colson on the stream. Throw up the pictures. He's always going to be one of the most clutch performers.
He's your favorite,
in the history
is he?
of my life. 17 years ago, Sully Sullenberger landed that plane on the Hudson in New York. It's not supposed to happen.
It's not. That was an amazing thing.
They practice water land, but it's not supposed to happen. Planes aren't supposed to do that.
How do you practice a water
landing? Everybody lived. So amazing. So amazing. Okay, we'll go to break here. When we come back, we're going to talk to Special Olympian golfer.
Medal winner.
Taylor Carter, medal winner. More medals than me. And I need some help with my club face open at impact. So hopefully Taylor Carter can help me here. It's a Sports Cage streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. All right, we're back. Sharky's with me. It's for Access Communications. Sharky's brought to you by Flooring Superstar. Joining us in studio. Special Olympian golfer won gold at the 2025 Saskatchewan Summer Games. Taylor Carter. Taylor, thanks for coming into the studio. Cody brought you in here. Off season. It's January. What's a golfer like you doing in the off season?
I like to go and train at divots usually. They have been a very important part of my golf journey. So shout out to them, and I've been working hard over there and trying to get better.
I'm going to be at divots on the weekend. You got your medal around your neck. Now, tell me, how long have you been golfing? What got you into golf?
My dad got me into it when I was 4 years old.
Really?
And then I just kept on continuing for as long as I can do it for.
So how old are you? How many years is that for?
33.
Wow, so you've been playing quite a few years. What's
a handicap?
Yeah, what's your lowest score in handicap?
Handicap is rusty. But my game, my best score was 72.
I heard you play at Katepwa a lot.
Yeah, I do.
That's a tough track.
Oh, very tough, yeah.
Got to shape the ball, target stuff out there. It's not wide open. I need wide open.
Yeah.
That's what
I need space.
I need some of that parkland courses where you can kind of find it here and there and everywhere. Special last year, you got a special golf club somehow, some way. Tell me that story.
Actually, my a friend that I follow on Instagram, his name is Mac Boucher.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about how I send special messages to him, and he kind of decided to give me a driver for saying that kind of stuff, and I was like in shock, and it was really cool.
And did you put it in the bag right away?
Yeah.
Start using it immediately? Yeah.
And how'd it work out?
It works great.
See if you can get 2 next time, Taylor. Because I need one of those as well.
But funny, we're off the just before we came back on, we kind of had some problems here, and I was like, oh no. And then Taylor pipes up, hey, don't worry, everybody makes mistakes. I'm like, you're a positive guy. You're positive in the SportsCage studio as well. So talk about winning the medal last year, and talk about the competition. Was it tight? Did you have to come back? How were your rounds there? Give us the synopsis of that.
So it was basically we played at Tor Hill in Regina, and
you can spray it around there a few holes. I know that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of water, a lot of bunkers, and a lot of annoying stuff that I don't like, but you have to play through it.
None of us do.
Yeah. So I played two days of competition. The first day I shot 42. The next day I shot 48.
Nice. Well done.
Way better than you. Sorry.
He's peeling me every time. Yeah.
Favorite course that you've played?
I want to say Katepwa.
Yeah.
It's a good track. It's a very good track. Taylor, what's next for you? What's the next competition you go to?
I go to Medicine Hat in August for a competition.
In August.
Yeah.
And is that a Canadian one, or is that just a region? Is that what level is that at?
I think that's a provincial.
Okay, an Alberta provincial. Nice.
What about you went in 2023? Did you go to Berlin?
I sure did.
Oh, tell us about that.
Yeah.
That experience was really awesome. We played 4 days in a row. I played really good on the first day, and then the second day just went all downhill.
It's all right.
And then the last 2 days I played really good.
Bounce back.
Yeah.
Positivity. I'd go the other way. I would have been in the Larkin saying, well, I don't know what to do it here. Clubs. What was the golf course like in Berlin? Similar to here?
Similar, yeah.
Yeah?
Bunkers and not a lot of up or down, which is nice.
Oh, okay. Did you travel, and did you get to explore Germany a bit?
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
It was awesome.
Taylor, it sounds like a charmed life. You're winning golf. You got a better handicap than me.
Free driver,
and you get to go all over the world. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah. So you talked about coming up this year. What's your goal? What kind of goals do you have going into this year?
This year I want to break 40.
Yeah. Doable?
It's pretty doable once you practice the right things and get into a habit of doing it consistently.
What's the best part of your game? Is it off the tee? Is it approach shots? Is it putting? Is it the mental side?
I would say the mental and driving, but the rest has been a nightmare.
What's your longest drive?
312.
Let's go. I might need a partner here and there, so I'm going to keep your number on hand, and then you'll ditch me like my other partners do. You're like, man, this is awesome. And I hear, because Sharky and I both play at the Royal, you like going to the Royal for a specific reason.
Because I love the trains there.
Yeah, have you ever been on a train?
I have. I was in a lot of them in Germany.
Germany. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to travel.
I've seen people hit the train.
Yeah.
With their shot.
Yeah.
I've hit the tracks.
those baseball fields that are on the other side of the track? I've been near there. I see some balls with my name on them over there. Hey, thanks so much for coming in, Taylor. This is great. I love that medal. So we'll probably maybe find you at divots here and there, swinging into the Sims.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Well, if I see you there, maybe I'll join you for 9 holes.
Take some money off him, Taylor. When he shows up, feel him a little.
No, not the way he's shooting it. Special Olympian Taylor Carter. He won gold at provincials last year. Unbelievable story. Really good stuff. It's a Sports Cage. We'll be right back. All right. It's pretty much hockey tonight for the most part. Canadian teams. Montreal is traveling into Buffalo. Vancouver's in Columbus. Sharky's going to be watching that one closely.
Ooh, that's a tight one.
Winnipeg in Minnesota. The Flames. Will Rasmus Anderson be in the lineup in Chicago to take on the Blackhawks? Oilers are home to the New York Islanders. And Mitch Marner gets to play his old team in Las Vegas. The Golden Knights host Toronto. Prairie Junior Hockey League, the Silver Foxes hosting Moosomin at the Wick and the Vending Machines. Sask U18 AAA boys. Notre Dame at the Yorkton Maulers, 7:30. SportsCage.com poll today. If you want to go vote at SportsCage.com. The CFL wants to expand by 2030. Where do you think they should locate the 10th franchise? Vote at SportsCage.com. It is for Extreme Hockey and Sport and Umbrella Marketing, where you can get snazzy Yetis like this one. Also, Extreme Hockey and Sport opened up the Temple Garden Center in Moose Jaw, home of the price match guarantee. So if you're into shopping local, they support local. Extreme Hockey and Sport. What are we missing?
I don't know. I'm just doing some betting, getting some tickets ready.
For tonight?
Yeah.
Oilers. Islanders. Oilers are becoming like.
The Oilers
had
are
Dustin Nielsen on yesterday.
The Oilers are a good hockey team.
You look at the West and where teams are landing. Obviously, first off, we've talked about this. I don't know how many times, but it's hard to fathom where the Winnipeg Jets are.
It is. It is truly hard to fathom. But I've talked to a couple guys about it, and just been a ton of 1-goal games. And last year they won them, and this year they're not. Right? And that's the difference. And because they haven't changed their franchise that much. I mean, they still got the same players outside of Ehlers. So, this shouldn't be that big a difference. But it's just the 1-goal game thing, I think, that's biting Winnipeg in the butt.
I had some guys, and they're like, hey, we should go to Winnipeg for a playoff game. Atmosphere would be good. We can go Silver Heights and hang out. And I'm like, yeah, let's plan that. We haven't got together in a while, the crew that wants to go. And I'm like, what's plan B?
Because plan A looks a little iffy right now.
Probably not going to be in the playoffs, which I said is super surprising. Rasmus Anderson, Eric Francis is on yesterday. I think if you're I'm not a Flames fan. If you're a Flames fan, sit him.
Yeah, you don't want him to get banged up or get another injury that
he got in a fight the other night, man.
Yeah, because he's worth too much money healthy, right? You don't need him banged up. He can bring so much back to that franchise in terms of as they continue to rebuild. So you got to look after your asset a little bit there.
Broken hand out, you're getting nothing back, and then I couldn't imagine it at all. So yeah, we ran down the sports ticker and what's coming up. Back to the winter meetings and what everybody is saying. They talked about the Olympics a lot. Cole, I don't know if you want to get that.
The flag football.
Oh, it was number 3. And I might be the only one that's on this side of it. I'm like, they're efforting a lot to something that Canada's got to qualify yet. So I know you got to be prepared.
Yep.
You might as well be prepared. And B, it's like, how many of them can actually transition to that game?
You have said this over and over. Arash has said it over and over. It's a completely different game. It's not easy for those players just to switch. So I'll be surprised at the end of the day if it happens to any of them.
Glen Suitor's coming up after 5 o'clock. So much to get to. We'll touch on the Farhan tweet with Glenn and all that. He'll want to talk some flag football. But if you missed it, here's Stuart Johnson talking about the 2028 Olympics.
I'd say that the conversation this morning really pushed us forward quite a bit. We have more conversation to have with the Players Association, so that timing is dependent on how those conversations go. I know in speaking with the Players Association, they also are motivated because the players do want to be a part of this if they can be. So my hope, again, is that we will have, if not all details settled, at least the ones that we have control over settled prior to the start of this season.
So there's that. The other thing that you have something on that?
No, go ahead.
The other thing, and I know a lot of people, especially here, and they message in and they want more done with the Canadian draft.
We had that exact discussion today. And, I start with the first principle of these players being drafted in our Canadian draft and our global draft. What an accomplishment that is. You got drafted to the Canadian Football League. And we want to make sure that's recognized, acknowledged, and celebrated. And that's very important. At the same time, you think about entertainment properties. And we want to make every aspect of our league, not just from game 1 to Grey Cup, but from Jan 1 to December 31, we want the CFL to be as entertaining as possible. And so we ran through a number of ideas specific to the Canadian draft on how we might improve the entertainment value of that. Nothing firm to report, but I can tell you that discussion was had.
I think the Canadian draft, and one thing I'll say about it is, if you're a U Sports player, the chance of getting drafted from U Sports into the NFL is really small, right? It's very, very, very small. There's like 1 or 2 guys a year, and usually a lineman, right? So the Canadian draft is an important development.
I think there'd be more than that, wouldn't there be?
I don't think it's that high. There might be 3 or 4, but it's not a big number. Right? And it's in the late rounds. But the Canadian draft's an important part of the development of the U Sport player to go on to the CFL and maybe eventually get a shot at the NFL. It's an important step to go recognize the success of the work you've done. I don't think it should be dismissed or turned down. I think it's a very important part of a young football player's life.
So what do people want to change about it? Like, what like more hype, more... Like, I know one thing a lot of people go... got to be on TV, front to back. Okay, well, then how it works, though, when TSN sits down and they sell their advertising and they have packages, it's like, here's what we need for volume to appease this client, ratings, numbers, all that. So then that might not work. So then do you put it online only, which is kind of where we're at. I would like to see it be, and I don't know, I'd have to think about this a bit. I'd like to see it be more Canadian. Like, can we get the first 2 rounds or kind of the guys that we're going to get? Can we make it more interaction, more personable? Throw them in a sports bar.
But it's simple enough to do. It really is. And you talk about...
They got to bring everybody in. And
No. They don't have to bring everybody in. They can, with the technology we've got now, we interview people on their phones, sitting in their cars, for heaven's sakes, right? That sort of scenario can be set up. The first 2 rounds can maybe be done night 1 from 7 to 9. Don't give the teams 15 minutes between picks. Give them, like the NHL does, what do they get, 8-9 minutes between picks? Like, get that over with, right?
I have no idea. Is that what they get?
It's not very long. It's not a very long period of time. You got to know who you're going to draft. So you could do it within a TV framework. It is possible to do that, and you could do it with the players either being there or, like you say, being with family and friends in a particular location.
Yeah, I like that. Or maybe they need to make it more personable on that respect, if that's the right word that I'm looking at. That, speaking of it, that NHL draft at the Sphere.
Yeah.
When that was Berkeley Cat, what a spectacle.
Well,
that was.
But it's a much bigger thing, right?
But the NHL will be judged against the NFL and how the NFL does it, right?
Everybody's judged against the NFL. It's like
that draft.
It's like being able to fly a Twin Otter versus going to space.
Yeah.
Right? You're still a pilot.
Where's the NHL draft this year? Because was it last year that it was boring and they didn't do it anywhere? Was it 2 years ago?
Wasn't it in like Jersey or something last year?
Or they go back to Vegas, go to a casino. There, CFL.
Yeah.
Have it at the Northern Lights Palace in PA. Or Northern Lights Casino. Casino Regina.
Yeah.
Let's rock it out there.
Yeah. White Bear Casino. Put it in Carlisle.
26 draft is in Buffalo.
Yeah, but where was 25?
It was Los Angeles.
No.
Yep, because they took the helicopter, McQueen helicoptered over to Anaheim. But it was small. They didn't bring all the guys.
No, they did a lot smaller this time. Yeah.
There's Sharky, Casino Regina.
Yeah.
CFL draft.
There's a great event to host.
Glen Suitor texted he's got lots to get. He wants lots to talk about.
He's busy.
So stay tuned. It's the Sports Cage. We'll be back in moments. Oh, text line. Prairieland Rentals text line is a buzzsaw. 5 o'clock, last hour of the show. Thanks for making time. However you're tuning in, whether you're watching through the YouTube channel, see Sharky there on his phone, working the phones as he always is. Colson's on the other side of the board, keeping things in check. Audio streaming as well, and of course 620 CKRM. All of our guests have been joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. If you're driving home, why cook? Pick up a wheel or any of the Greek favorites.
So good.
You love. And the Prairieland Rentals text line, like I said, 600 Albert Street, deal with the owner. I'd say 70% of these I can't read. Not allowed. Oh, update. The U18 AAA game in Yorkton today with Notre Dame canceled.
Due to weather.
Power outage.
Power outage.
It's windy. When this wind picks up and the power lines...
Knock the line down.
Remember, what was it, a few weeks ago? When it was, we had the icy rain.
Yep.
Yeah, and then it got windy.
Yep. Power
NOD.
Gone.
Oh, and it was about 5 or 6 hours, maybe even longer, and it was cold out. And the kids, and I was like, okay, go to bed in a hoodie, put on a pair of sweatpants,
get some socks on,
get the woolies on. This could be for a while. Well, how? Like, why? What? I'm like, because do you know the power lines? And someone's out there fixing. Look outside, it's a blizzard.
Yeah, some guy's trying to make this better.
So anyone that's involved in that kind of work, I'm going to listen to Wichita Lineman. And it makes me think of that song, and I know it's on the way home. But yeah, power's out.
Hats off to the SAS Power boys for the work they do.
And girls.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of them out there as well. James on the text line. 4 NFL Pro Line ties, $5 sprinkle nets you $600.
Wow.
James.
James.
I like what you're throwing down there. I don't think all these games this week are a tie, though. Or a 3-point game on Pro Line.
I don't think so either.
I like, or you can do the combo where you only need 3 or 4. You can play a little combo action, James.
Yeah, that seems like a long shot. Yeah.
So, again, I'll bring it up. Jeff with the J. When you talked about the airplane and the space thing, he says, those are called astronauts, not pilots.
They're still they were originally a pilot to become an astronaut. You don't go right to astronaut. You have to be a pilot first.
Once in a while, yes.
Thanks, Jeff.
Ones.
Thanks for
when he's
jumping
not
in there.
Stirring the pot on the YouTube chat, that's for sure. Okay. He's got some stuff to say.
He's got some things under his hat.
Let's talk to Glen Suitor. It's press coverage. Suits appears, video feed. There he is, with his proud CFL hat on and a sport coat. He dresses up for our hits. I love it.
I think that just hangs on the back of the chair till he comes on with us, and then he puts it on.
It's okay.
Well, there's a rotation, Sharky, of 3 or 4 of them. That's about it. Yeah, I want to represent a little bit. You know, I mean, General Patton said you start with how you look. And that's where your confidence starts, and that's how you carry yourself. So, trying to live by one of the great generals of all time.
Yep.
I said this to my wife because her school had pajama day a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, why don't we have that more in the public sector?
No, it should be shirt and tie day at school.
The what?
Shirt and tie day. Should be shirt and tie day at school, not pajama day.
You're allowed to wear hats at school now. Remember back in our day, you can't even take a hat to school back in our day.
So be honest, guys. Did you with the hat look at the brim for the answers? Did you have those all written in the brim of the hat? Is that how you?
No, I had a little piece of paper that I put in between my legs, my pants. Are we live?
Always wear a shirt with a pocket. Always wear a shirt with a pocket.
As my dad used to say, "Do as I do, not as I do as I say, not as I do."
Exactly. Yeah.
Guys that wrote it on their hand. I'm like, what is this, amateur hour?
Yeah.
You're gonna be so sweaty that palm. You're out. You're out. All right. Your colleague, our friend, Farhan Lalji, stirring the pot this week. Glenn, he didn't hide from it. He came on. He apologized. You were listening to Tommy Stevens, but he's still said what he did. Now, I take the stance, and I brought this up. We're professional football here. Is that what we're going to do? It's the league's job to start developing quarterbacks? Do we go to the fans and say, as Harry just said, hey, we went 2-14 this year. Sorry, but we developed a couple of quarterbacks. Fans don't care about that.
No. Yeah. Well, and I think both are happening. First of all, there is that moment of truth when a new player, a young player, who's maybe been on a roster maybe just 1 year or maybe 3 or 4, that gets his opportunity. And at the pro level, you might get 1, maybe 2. And if you don't, you have to even be a little bit lucky. Your skill will carry you so far, but you slip and throw a pick at the wrong time, that could be your opportunity, and it's over. That's how quick this can happen. And at the same time, there is a development of quarterbacks going on. I think anyway, I listened to you guys' interview with Farhan, and he had a couple of interesting ideas about camps and things like that could help in that regard. And I'm all for anything that might help the development of those quarterbacks. But here's how you develop them. You develop them by having them on your roster. So when the CFL went and said, we're going to probably cut it down to 2 players on the roster, or 2 quarterbacks only, I was a big, I didn't like it. I was against that. I thought the 3 quarterbacks on the roster are important because the third quarterback, who could take on a different role like short yardage, like Tommy Stevens, who I will get to in a minute. But that third guy, you can be developing, and the way he does that is he's at practice. He's in the room. He's sitting beside Trevor Harris every single day, listening and watching how Trevor Harris, as a pro, as an adult now, not a college kid anymore, as an adult, is preparing himself for what's going to happen, and then taking practice reps, and then seeing the difference in speed from the college level. All of those things are the development of the young quarterbacks. And then comes somewhere along the way in that journey, their moment of truth, their moment that may end up to be 2 or 3. And at that time, you need a little bit of luck too. Maybe your defense gets the key turnover. Maybe your receiver makes this fantastic one-handed catch when you've overthrown him, but he comes down with it anyway. You need a little bit of that to happen, and all of a sudden, your career as a pro is kick-started. So you guys know that I don't listen to other guys that are insiders or analysts or whatever and contradict or they're all entitled to their opinion, and I've said that for all of them. And but I will give you my opinion about Tommy Stevens. I think Tommy Stevens is a fantastic teammate and great pro. His college days at Penn State and Mississippi State, excuse me, in his last year, his college days, he didn't have a ton of stats in college, but it was enough for him to get drafted, if I remember correctly, to the Saints. And the NFL scouting system believed that there was a guy there that could play pro football. And then so did the Calgary Stampeders for a long time. And right now, so does the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I would be shocked if you talk to any GM or coach right now in our league in pro football in either leagues, to be honest, who said, I'm going to bring in a quarterback just to do short yardage. Like, I'm going to go and scout a quarterback just for short yardage. Like, if you're doing that, why are you doing that? You're looking for the next quarterback to take over your team. And you've got 3 on the roster, maybe 4 with a guy on an injured list, that you are, by having them in the room, developing them, giving them an opportunity to learn what is going to be necessary when you get your opportunity. And then when you do, well, you have to let it loose, make it happen, show enough that you get a second and a third. You know that most of the great quarterbacks in pro football took 2 or 3 years, sometimes 4 or 5 years Hall of Famers. You guys know that Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round. All the expert scouts in the National Football League thought the greatest quarterback in the world was a 6th round pick. Like, I mean, it's
Brock
these
Purdy.
guys. Yeah, exactly. First of all, it's not a perfect science to be able to look at a kid in college and say he's going to be a great pro and he's not. That to me is disrespectful to the process.
So I just looked it up on AI here, and Tommy Stevens, it says, allegedly, has accumulated 30 rushing touchdowns in the CFL over the last 5 years. So I think of it as a pro league, and you talked kind of about that scout or that coach going to look for that quarterback and bringing him up just as a short yardage guy. I think why not? And do it, because that's what the game is calling for right now. The game says you bring in this guy because no one's figured it out. And if he's going to take up a roster spot and you're going to pay him, well, that's on you. That's the strategy of the game, because you're trying to win games, which leads to more fans, probably more revenue, to a championship. Pro sports. The bringing up the development of quarterbacks, which, don't get me wrong, development of everything is great. I think that there's like another avenue for that. It's almost like, because Farhan said there's no farm league for the CFL. Now, maybe there should be more senior men's football out there where guys can continue to play. I don't know. What would be an ideal world? Yeah. If there was more of a synergy between, and some people might hate this because of the complex, the inferiority complex. If there's more of a synergy between the NFL and CFL, for them to say,
send us this guy, we'll develop him,
and send some loot.
Yeah.
Because you guys are going to develop these guys for us. Now then everyone's going to go, well, the field's different and all that. You're still throwing a ball. You're still reading defenses. Guys still running a double out or smash or whatever. Still running patterns. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here.
I said it earlier about Drew Brown, right? Like, he was developed. He's getting it. And so part of developing is losing. Part of developing is making mistakes, right? You don't walk in and become the starting quarterback. You can go through every quarterback that's had a great CFL career. They've all got they were behind somebody else. Even Warren Moon started behind Tom Wilkinson.
Yep.
Right? Yep. So everybody started, right? And he got a chance and it worked out. He throws 2 interceptions. He's back at SportsCage.
Well, that's to Glen's point, right? But then there's also definitely the political side of sports, and it's not just football, where you got the right agent that buddy owes favors upon favors. Then even if the odd guy does have a bad showing, then you go, hey, remember when I got you that guy and all that? I need you to give this guy another look. Just politics from little sports to big sports.
Yeah, well, and there's, that's a great example of Nathan Rourke, who, if you look at his skill set, is probably better than, and again, this is all based on opinion, people's opinion when they evaluate him and watch him play. But my opinion is that he's probably better than at least a third of the starters in the National Football League, and got, a handful of reps and was the best quarterback, or one of the best quarterbacks in the preseason when he did get some time to play when he was down there, but didn't get the opportunity. It just didn't work out for him. So he comes back up here and becomes an MOP in year 2. But to get on the field, Nathan, had to have the confidence of a coach based on what he did in practice. So he looks at him in practice. He watches how he works. He watches how he leads the team. He watches how he runs the huddle. He gets it. Once he's in the building, you get a chance to up close evaluate this person, the character. That's why I love Tommy Stevens. What Tommy is asked to do in games is hard for a guy who's grown up in the States as the guy. I mean, and now you come into a pro team and they say, hey, we believe you're a quarterback that could play in this league. That's why you're here. If he wasn't a guy that they think at one time in his career could be a starter, he wouldn't be here, I'm telling you. But He says, you do whatever you want me to do. If you want me to play linebacker and short yardage, I'll play linebacker. That's hard. That's hard for a lot of guys, especially guys that have been drafted in the NFL that come up to Canada and they think, well, if I was drafted down there, I'm going to clean up here. I'm just going to dominate. But you have to check that at the door. Tommy has done that, guys. Like he is an outstanding teammate. His teammates love him, and he is the best short yardage guy in the league because he's owned it. He said, if this is what you need me to do, I'm going to be a great team guy. That is evaluation as a starting quarterback. So you look at that as a coach and you say, if he's willing to do this without complaint and be great at it, hey, he gets his chance somewhere down the line. Now, I heard Farhan say, he would probably be fourth in the depth chart. Maybe. But so was Danny McManus at one point, and so was Tracy Ham at one point, until they got their moment.
I think I bet you there's 80% of the people listening to the Rider fans right now, because we saw it with Chris Streveler. Chris Streveler's a way better football player than I ever was or will be, and most of us listening and doing this. So we can slag on him for how he looks when he throws the ball and all that, but he played the game. He got thrown into some really tough spots over the years. And it is tough because the athletes are so good. Doesn't matter, NFL, CFL, they can play. And I said this last year, Colson, you know this, you got it written down in your book. I really would like to see Tommy sling it. Yes. I'd like to see Tom, but I don't want him to get one shot, some garbage time at some certain time. I want him to have a little bit of a buffer, a little bit of a runway. Okay, Tommy, don't worry about this. Isn't your only crack at it. But for the time being,
you're starting Monday. Yeah.
For the time being, he's a short yardage guy because the game and the strategy requires that. Just like years ago, Glenn, I'm sure if we go way back, and then maybe I'm wrong or correct me, but the punter kicker, and then somebody went, well, we're going to have separate. And then somebody said, what the heck are you doing? Are you crazy? You can't do. You're just going to have Devin Hester. All he's going to do is return kicks. Well, that's just specialty. It's the game. It's the strategy. It's what you want to do. Basketball, tall guy. Baseball, way back when they tried to put the little jockey guy in. If that would have worked, maybe every team would have had one of those guys. It's the strategy at the end of the game. Pro sports, you're trying to win.
That's all it is.
Yeah. And those opportunities, when you get them, you take advantage of them, and then you have a long career. And we haven't seen that opportunity with Tommy yet, but he's been a great teammate in between, and he's an outstanding fantasy pick right now because of his touchdowns. And we have been on the air, and I've been with my both play-by-play guys saying, hey, if my first pick in fantasy is Tommy Stevens,
because he's going to score.
Because he's going to score, and if you want to, as a coach, if you want him in short yardage, he's not going to get you the one you need. He's going to get you 4 or 5, and you better tackle him, or he's going to take it 50 yards. I mean, and we've seen him do that. And so, I think this development thing, if you go back in history enough, you will see that there was a time where there were only 2 quarterbacks on the roster, and the third string emergency quarterback was a player from another position. In fact,
I remember that. Yep.
Anecdotally, I was a third string quarterback for the Riders for a couple of years.
How bad were we in those? Oh my! What the?
Barney, I couldn't agree with you more on that. And so, every practice, I would take 2 or 3 reps at quarterback at the pro level. That is not developing the next quarterback.
I want a time machine. I've never wanted a time machine more than to go back now. And put Suitor in. Hey, Gregory, put Suitor in.
I had 3 running plays and 1 passing play, which was a quick slant to Ray Elgart. That was
the extent. Hey, no joke. Quick slant, when you got a line in front of you, is one of the hardest things to throw, man. Quick slant without the line is hard to throw, because at that timing off, pick,
gone.
Central, tip ball, pick.
How many guys as defensive backs were the holder for the kicker?
Yeah. Well, they wanted to always have it be the punter so that the punter could hold for the kicker so that they could practice on their own when the other guys are practicing offense and defense and special teams, all that stuff. The kicker and the punter could go off and just work at it. So that's why. And then all of a sudden it evolved where, well, maybe if we want to throw in some fakes and maybe have, a different type of athlete as the holder, now you have a chance to do other things. And it comes down to skill too. I mean, at some point, you just got to be good at it.
How many fake plays did you have?
4 or 5. A couple of touchdowns there, Sharky. Yeah, a couple on fakes. Oh yeah.
Throw or run?
Well, I ran both of them, I think, my touchdowns, and the one time I got a chance to throw to Elgard, I threw it right at his feet, and it bounced off, and I was wide open too, and so was he, by the way. It was in Edmonton. And I threw it, one-hopped it to him, and I got to the bench, and Don Matthews said to me, "It's not that easy to play quarterback, is it?" And I went, no, brand new perspective on what should have been a 10-yard throw for a touchdown. But, but you told Glenn to hook it at 8 or 9. It's on him.
I'm Googling it. I cannot find this play. I cannot find this play right now.
We were in Edmonton, Sharky. I don't remember what year, but it's in there somewhere. No, listen, and Nathan Rourke is a great example of that coach. And every retired athlete, every retired football player, if you ask him, who was the coach that gave you that shot? And they'll know exactly in a heartbeat who that was. And Nathan Rourke had Rick Campbell. One of the great things he did, despite his passport and anything else that, Nathan Rourke was bringing along, whether he was just known as a runner or his reputation was an athlete, not a passer, and all those things, Rick Campbell watched him in practice and said, "This guy can play. We need to get him on the field." And, I remember. And I would say the guys, and then when Nathan got on the field, he took care of business. So what I'm saying is that Tommy and those quarterbacks that are in the league right now, in both leagues, they're there because their coaches believe that somewhere through their development, they could be a starter. They could win games for us. Because if it's not, there's other guys out there you go get.
Yeah. We're up against the clock, closest times, but I remember back in the 80s, it was around 88, 89. You know who the gimmick guy was that the rumor was the Toronto Argonauts were going to give him a look? Ben Johnson.
I remember that.
Yeah. Imagine Ben. Yeah. Hey Ben, can you hold this? Can you hold this for the kicker? And then we're gonna need you to take off down the right side. Okay, we're up. Let's bring this up again next week.
I look forward to it.
We could talk for an hour here, Glenn. Have a good weekend. Go Patriots.
Yes, I'm going to be watching all weekend. And then listen, hey, we got to talk about the commish and the meetings on Tuesday.
Okay. You got it, my man. All right. See you, Glenn.
Thanks.
Have a good one. There he is. Press coverage. Glen Suitor up against the clock. We're back in a moment. Dohnte Meyers, if you missed it in hour 1, that's still coming up. We'll be right back. It's the Sports Cage. Also helping business owners with their plans. And if you got a job change, look it up. Chad Reach, Visa Wealth, gpfinancial.ca. Benny, it's been a while.
Nice hat.
We talked to you. Beautiful hat. Let's give away a hat. 936-6262. Caller right now. One of those Sports Cage hats. Colson's going to take caller number 1. You got to be able to come pick it up here. Let's go to the power rankings quick, Benny. What are we seeing on this thing? Look at that. Still the Flin Flon Bombers are number 1, but the North Stars have moved up.
They have, and we got to talk about Battlefords right now. They had a 21-round shootout against the Weyburn Red Wings. 3 guys scored. 3 guys scored out of the, whatever it is, 42 shooters, whatever it is. So Spencer Micknick, his first game as a Battleford North Star, he scored 39 of 41 in regulation and stopped 20 of 21 in the shootouts. I don't know if the goaltender was so good or the players are so bad. Like, I think after a while, somebody's got to take a one-timer or a big slap shot down there right at the hash marks or something, because it was nuts after a while. But hats off to Battlefords. They've won 6 in a row right now. And, of course, Flin Flon's won 7 in a row. And if you haven't been around the SJHL SJHL last week or so, they made a big deal. They acquired 3 top players from the Humboldt Broncos, Charlie Tritch, Connor Miller, and Ryder Knutson. So they've swung for the fences once again, Mike Rigg, and they try to snap that drought of an SJHL title that's been lingering for over 30 years. So it's very, very interesting there at the Whitney Farm.
That trade just came out of left field, or did you kind of catch word of it?
There was thoughts that they might add some guys. I think after a while, Brayden Comasco, who's a very smart hockey man, just said, hey, don't really have the roster right now. We have some assets here, and maybe we need to move on with guys and build up for the future. He's a Humboldt kid, so he's going to be out there for a long time. So he's going to build his roster. And the futures deal, I have heard a little bit rumblings what it could be, and I think there are some very, very good pieces coming back. So I think it was a good deal for both sides. It's a swing for the fences for the for the Flin Flon Bombers, because if they don't win, who knows what can happen here after that, because they've been so close the last number of years, and they still haven't lost at the Whitney Farm either. So it's been a crazy run for them, but I think they have 18 in a row or 17 in a row at home or something like that. So it's been nuts there at the Whitney Farm.
Is that a fresh moose leg for every game, or is it the same moose leg used over and over and over again? Which is it?
I think it is a fresh one every game. Of course, we won't bring it up, but I know Weyburn a number of years ago stole the moose leg, and that caused a big stir there a number of years ago. But it's a great scene. I know in Laurens, when they won, they threw a fish on the ice, so it's pretty good to see that. I'm not sure if we see that here in Southern Saskatchewan, some of our SJHL teams here, maybe some pierogies or something on the ice, but we haven't seen that quite yet.
Somebody needs to throw a squirrel.
Yeah.
Gopher.
Cuba sauce sausage.
Yeah, game of the week this weekend, as I'm looking at it, is Yorkton and Nipawin. That looks to me the game of the week. Both teams playing really well lately.
Yeah, Yorkton has they solidified their defense with a couple of trades at the deadline with Gavin Bartha coming in. They got Tyler Palin, a guy that played last year. He came back as a 20-year-old here after the break. So they're playing good hockey. It's a good test for Yorkton. They're going to be in Nipawin Friday, Flin Flon Saturday, and then wrap things up in Laurens, taking the Hanson Lake Road across for an afternoon affair there in Orange. So it's going to be a good test for the Terriers to see where they're at, but they're playing some very, very good hockey after a big win on Tuesday against Estevan.
Make sure the gas tank's full on the bus.
Yeah, you don't want to
That's the lake. I had Yorkton Flin Flon circled. All right, Benny, quick one. We just gave away the hat. Looks sharp on you.
Yeah.
Travel safe this weekend, my man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There it is. Cheers. SJHL Report brought to you by Chad Reach, Senior Wealth Advisor, GP Financial Services of Visa Wealth. Locally owned with a team of financial planning specialists farming retirement plans. You need a second opinion, call Chad Reach and his team.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steel Craft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Quickly in the NHL, Canadian teams, Montreal's in Buffalo, Vancouver and Columbus, Pittsburgh, Winnipeg Jets travel to Minnesota, the Flames at Chicago, Oilers home to the Islanders, and Toronto in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights and Mitch Marner. Prairie Junior Hockey League Moosomin at the Regina Silver Foxes, and that AAA midget game in Yorkton has been canceled or postponed due to a power outage, so Notre Dame do a U-turn, head back home. Great show today.
Thank you. Had a ton of fun.
If you missed it, that's what we're all about here. If you missed it in hour one, Dohnte Meyers, Cincinnati Bengal, joined us. We're going to play that.
Great interview.
We're going to